Welcome to the Sankofa Ancestor Shrine. I'm your host, Tommy, and today I wanted to make a video that was a special thank you. Excuse the mess in the back. I'm trying to quilt. That's kind of how I get through stressful times, especially, times where we have to riot and protest and things like that. Quilting just makes me feel better. So that's not a quilt that's part of our Sinob Freedom Quilt project. That's just me quilting because it makes me feel better to quilt our stories as Black Americans and record them in a way that is traditional but not, done as much anymore. At any rate, so excuse the mess, but I wanted to give a thank you to the patrons of the patreon.com/Sankofa Shrine. You all helped make it possible for me to get another deck for us to study. If you'll remember, you made it possible to get this deck maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I spent about $60 getting the Adinkra card deck sent to us, and we studied it throughout our studies of the Sacred Woman book by Queen Afua. However, we've been done with that, and I really miss it, but I don't want to just keep going over and over the Adinkra cards, because I think if you really want to memorize them, you'll probably get the deck or some other source yourself. So I thought, what if we start studying the ancestors? And I found this deck, Black History playing card deck. It's been in my wish lists of decks and books for us in this group for a while. And then I had, the funds from the Patreon, and I thought, hey, I haven't invested that money into something new, a new book. I bought like several books for this, group, but I was like, we haven't gotten a new deck to study, and I missed the Adinkra deck studies. So thank you. If you helped support with money at any point, you helped get the Black History playing card deck, and I'm pretty sure at this point, this deck was originally published in the 70s by the History Channel. Obviously, some other folks did all the hard labor, but History Channel is the one who okayed this project, which is really cool. Cartomancy is one of the main divination tools of Black Americans, besides bone throwing and coin reading. Cartomancy is right up there. Tarot wasn't really used until like the 70s ish. More mainstream by a lot of people, but cards, using an actual playing card deck, and this one, each one has the ancestors in honey. I went through immediately and did the research on every ancestor and how it would connect to the to cartomancy reading. So on the bottom of every one, I have the biography. On the top, or things to help trigger my memory on their biography, and on the top I have how they're related to the readings, what it means to you. So I went ahead and did that, and I figured, let's just go through the book the same way we did for the Adinkra cards. Let's just study the ancestors together. I think it's going to be really wonderful. This book has a lot of information that maybe people don't know about our ancestors. The deck has a few ancestors that I didn't know, which is always a fun surprise when you read about an ancestor that gets you fired up. You realize, like, oh, there's so much to get into here. My bloodline is strong, and I have so many resources to draw on. That's what I want from this deck. So it has the usual, Muhammad Ali, George Washington Carver, who's other, Ida B. Wells. You know what I'm saying? It has a lot of familiar faces, but it also has a bunch of unfamiliar faces, right? Like, we all know Langston Hughes and Malcolm X, but not everybody knows Louis Latimer. I mean, actually, I think a lot of people might, but not everybody knows Bose Ickard. Honey, I was like, when you learn about Black cowboys, doesn't it get you just pumped up? You're just like, yes, you were out there in that lawless country holding your own, honey. Yes, and we have another Black cowboy, I believe, here. We have Nat Love. Yes. This is my only complaint about this deck. Every person had a portrait, and every other person's portrait looks a lot like them, but Nat Love, for whatever reason, when you look at his pictures, his black and white pictures, he doesn't appear very mixed. But then when you look at this portrait, he kind of does. So I'm like, I don't know about that. But it's the only one it happened on. And so I'm going to research Dolores L. Holt, who's the one who made this deck. And I'm also going to research Langley Newman, who's the one who drew all the portraits for this deck. And I think we're about to have a lot of fun. So again, thank you to the patrons who made this possible. And I hope you're excited for a little knowledge to come back into the sacred, sessions that we have, and we can replace our old, research and studies of the Adinkra symbols, which is very African, which was very ancestrally connected, and we can do that again. Oh dear. I have some... Like Garrett Morgan, y'all. He invented the gas mask and the traffic light. Did you know about him? I didn't know about him. But I'm really excited to keep learning about different people who, this is the founder of Chicago, y'all. Founder of Chicago. He married a native indigenous woman and they founded Chicago. Ain't it crazy? Ain't it crazy? He has a crazy story. We have some amazing things to go through. So again, I'm just rambling on saying thank you, but I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited to share this with you all, make the videos and have our videos have it. This will absolutely increase the video time probably by about 5-6 minutes, but I think it's worth it, even though some people get really put off when they see videos that are 30 plus minutes. 45 is usually the hard limit, and then people are like, an hour? I don't have an hour. So they just skip the whole video, which makes me sad, because if you know the content, you can skip the things you're not going to do, like sacred movement or card studies. Just skip to the sacred message, or skip the sacred message and just do your sacred movement and your card study. I hope people are doing that and just kind of picking and choosing what they're willing to put in for that week, because I think having that spiritual connection every week is so necessary. Connecting with spirit, connecting with the ancestors, connecting with Mother Nature. And we struggle to do that because, it's the same with being vegan, right? You step out of being a meat eater, but then often people don't replace what they've cut out of their diet. And then they're hungry and they're feeling that need for something more. It's the same with religion. We cut out Christianity because we understand certain things are very toxic to us, but then we don't replace it with anything. So we're hungry spiritually. And that's what this channel is for. That's what all this is for. So thank you so much for the support, and I will see you next time. And that's my kids. All right. May your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads. I love you so much, and thank you to all the patrons for your support.